While I worked for others, I never felt I was being paid what I was worth. I wanted to work for myself but didn't know where to start or how to transition from employee to entrepreneur. I was uncertain. I was afraid about how to make that shift. This podcast is about giving you the courage to take action, to stop trading your time for money, trading your life for a job that doesn't fulfill you or pay you what you're worth. This podcast is about giving you the tools and courage to finally work for yourself. Hi, I'm Phil Delozano, a success coach and entrepreneur, and I'm paying it forward by helping others like yourself go from employee to entrepreneur. It won't be easy. It'll take hard work and determination. Anyone starting a business needs a mentor, a coach to help navigate to success, someone to push you, mentor you, and give you the pep talks that keep you going. This is your wake-up call. Welcome to Be Your Own Boss. Hey, do yourself a favor. Listen to the end of the show. We'll give you instructions on how you might win a new iPad or a one-on-one coaching session with me. Hi, and thanks for tuning into the show. This is Phil Delozano, and the show is BYOB Pep Talk. That's BYOB as in Be Your Own Boss Pep Talk. And who this show is for those people that know or just know inside that there's more in life than where they're at right now. That they know they were meant to be their own bosses and entrepreneurs and working for themselves. But they just don't have the resources to hire a coach or hire a consultant or hire a mentor that can get them to that next step. And that's what this is. I provide the pep talk to those people to gain the courage to take that next step and move forward with their lives. That's what this show is for. So I want to speak to the aspiring entrepreneurs, the newer entrepreneurs, the ones that need to take that next step. And that's what this show is all about. My name is Phil Delozano. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a success coach. I'm a mentor. I've been in business for over 30 years. I've had various businesses, and I'm paying it forward. I'm paying it forward by giving back to those new entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs that want to take the next step but just don't know how. And that's what this show is all about. It's for those people. So, now that you know what this show is and who the show is for, let's talk about what we spoke about last week. Last week, we spoke about the 10 things to do before launching a product. Okay, and let me summarize that for you. So just because you have a product and you know it's going to be a great success and you feel that you're going to make plenty of money, there's certain things that you need to do before launching it and taking it to market and investing money in it. You want to make certain. Okay, so the first step is you want to test that product. You know, whether it's by creating a prototype, but you want to test that product. And the second step is you want to continually test it to make certain that you've worked out the bugs, that it does what you say it's going to do and what you expect it to do. So that's what you're going to, those are the two things that you're going to do. Now, the other thing is you're going to need to make certain that you've identified your market. You know, make certain who that product is for, and that's who that you're making that product for. And make certain that that market has a need for your product. Okay, you may create a product where there's not a need for it. So let's make certain that you've done your research in the market and you've done your market research to make certain that you've identified the market and you've got a need. But more importantly, okay, you've identified the market, you've got a need. You're going to need to get the opinion of some people in that market. I'm not talking about opinions of friends and family. I'm talking about actual business owners in that field, and get their opinions of what your product is, what it does, and what it offers, and what solutions it provides. Oftentimes, you're going to be able to get much benefit from talking to those people because they're going to open your eyes on other things or put you in a different direction because that's what the market needs. So keep that in mind. The other thing is research your competitors. Find out what they're offering, and what makes your product so special? What differentiates your product from everybody else's? And that's going to be key. So we're not asking you to reinvent the wheel, but you're going to have to do it better. Okay, so you've tested it, you've done your market research, you've got your prototype. So what you're going to actually need to do is you're going to need to test it in the real world. So you're going to need some expert reviews. So you're going to have to give, I would suggest that you give that product away to 2 or 3 members in that community, in that market, and let them use it and see what results. Let's see if it does what it says it's going to do. And then seek results or reviews from those people that have been using it. That's going to be great testimony for you, because when you finally take your product to market, these people have been using it and they've found great success, and you're going to be able to do that. So that's the other thing. Now, you've got your plan now, you've got your reviews, and now you've got your plan to take it to market. So do you have an elevator pitch? Okay. Find out what your elevator pitch is on your product. If you and I were on an elevator and you had about 30 seconds to tell me what you do, what you offer, and what benefit it's going to provide for me, are you able to do that in a clear and concise way that tells me exactly what you do and you're going to capture my attention? So do your research and get your elevator pitch put together. And before you buy ads and go that route, TV ads, print ad, whatever the ads are, try social media. It's a larger marketplace, but you can target your ads to a specific area, a specific city, a specific market, and make certain that you've got your wording correct. Just because you put an ad up doesn't mean they're going to respond to it. You've got to be able to speak the language. And it reminds me of a great book that I'm reading right now, and I'm probably rereading it, about story brands. It's interesting how we buy things. So I would suggest that you definitely pick up the book Story Brands by Donald Miller. It gives you a clear, concise message regarding your website, regarding things that you need to do as far as gaining consumers' trust and selling your product. So those are some of the things that we talked about last week, okay? But this week, you're asking, okay, I've got a product. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to take it to market. I need money. How do I fund this thing? And that's what it's all about, that this week's episode is about. It's about funding. And there's many ways to fund your idea. You're just going to have to get creative when it comes to it. This is not Facebook. This is not Silicon Valley. You're not going to, go to California and get millions and millions of dollars and launch your product. That's not how this is going to work. In the real world, most people, they're going to have to bootstrap it. They're going to have to rely on what they have and what they can create for themselves to be able to do it. So one of the quickest areas that you can do and invest in your product is your savings. Hopefully you've put some money aside and you can invest a little bit as far as you've got a prototype and you want to put some of that money towards it. You can take a look at your savings. You can also borrow against your credit. Some of you may have, whether it's friends, not friends and family, but whether it's credit cards or things like that, you can use your credit to be able to get some money to be able to launch your product. So take a look at that. That may be an option for you where you can take a look at it. Another area is borrow money from friends and family. Let them know what your product is. Let them know what the market is. Let them know what the expert reviews are saying, and let them know that you've got a commitment. And hopefully your friends and family believe in you enough that you'll be able to gather some money that way. Now, what are some of the other ways to get money? Well, you can get creative. First of all, you don't have to launch the product as a full-time business. You can launch the product part-time. While you're working your day job, when you get home at night, you can work a couple of hours every night on launching that product and making it a success. And when that product finally gets some traction, then, and it can support itself, then you can start thinking about readjusting your schedule. So start from home. That's going to be the key. Don't rent an office. Don't go out and get business cards. Well, you may need to get business cards, but you can print them themselves. Don't go out and get business licenses and things like that. Don't go spend a bunch of money until you know that it's going to sell. So start from home. I'm a big believer in making certain it's going to work, making certain I'm going to land before I take that leap. Okay? So that's the other thing. Let's say you're selling something. Don't make a bunch of them and stock up on inventory. All of a sudden you're going to have all this inventory and nobody's going to buy it. Don't make the mistake of stocking up on inventory. Again, make certain you go through the steps that I talked about the 10 steps that you need to do before launching your product, before you decide on stocking up on inventory, because you may get stuck with that inventory. And what you're going to be staring at is a bunch of money that can't do anything for you. So that's the other thing. Some of the smart people that I know, what they'll do is before they've even made anything, they'll sell it. So what they'll do is they'll go and find customers who agree, who want that product, who will make that commitment to buy it, and then they'll produce it. So that is probably one of the smarter ways of doing it. They're solving a problem that already exists in the marketplace, and they're providing a solution for it. So they're identifying the market, they're identifying the problem, and then they're providing a solution for it. So that's the other thing. Sell it, get that commitment. Sell it before you make it. Now, what are some of the other ways you can fund it? Maybe it may take getting a part-time job. Maybe that part-time job where you're getting a few hundred here, a few hundred there, per week may help you put that money into your side hustle so that you can finally launch your product and let it get some traction. Okay. Now, like I said, there's many creative ways of doing this, but you've got to do it smart and you've got to do it cheap. So before you go out and buy a bunch of equipment, rent it. See if you can rent it for the very short term. Make certain. In your mind, I know your mind is saying this is absolutely going to work. It's going to work. It's going to work. What you need is proof. You need proof that it's going to work. When it's in front of your eyes and you sold a bunch of them, that's the proof that you need. But until then, it's just your mind saying to you, yeah, it's going to work. It's going to work. I'm not saying don't believe in your product. I'm just saying make some smart decisions. Now, there are other ways and other means of getting funds, ways of getting money for your business. You can always find microloans. Microloans are very small loans that you can get from different community organizations that will help you fund your business ideas. Okay, so that's an option. Microloans is a way of doing it. Nowadays, with the internet, there's also crowdfunding. So you can post what your product is before you've made it and what it's going to do and who it's going to solve. And those in a crowd, as what is called crowdfunding, can support you and donate. And in turn, you give them, you'll give them the product when it comes out. But they can help fund the beginning of your product launch. So you can take a look at that. So there's microloans, there's crowdfunding. Another way, you don't want to do it, but you can try it. It's home equity lines of credit. If you have a home and there's some equity in it, think about getting an equity line of credit. And that will help you to launch your product. But please, if you do have a home, talk to your spouse. Make certain your spouse is on board, knows exactly what you're doing, or your partner, if it's a spouse or partner, so that there's no issues there. What you don't want is any tension at home while you're doing this, because it's just going to make it that much harder. Now, there's always the traditional routes that you can go. You can always get a business loan. So you can go to the bank and get a business loan. That's going to be predicated on your credit, your past experience, things like that. You can look at that option. Again, I'm going to lean more towards those. If you're going to have to go the commercial route, it gives you a little bit more control, but you still have to pay the bank back. One of the things you may want to do is, and it's going to take a lot of research on your part and getting a business plan together and et cetera, either way, whether it's a business loan or going to the SBA. You can go to the SBA, but it's going to take those steps, getting a business plan together. They're going to look at your credit. They're going to look at your background, et cetera, to make certain how much, and they're also going to look how much money are you putting into this or how much money have you put into this. So keep that in mind. They're not going to fund 100% of this. They're going to make certain that you believe in it strongly enough that you're putting money into this. So keep that in mind. There's the SBA as well. Also, there's peer-to-peer lending. There's many companies out there that will lend you the money for different reasons. And it's kind of like crowdfunding, but it's not crowdfunding. Again, you're going to have to pay this back. So it is peer-to-peer lending. You may qualify for different amounts, and a lot of it's going to be predicated on your credit. And those are the options that you're going to have to take a look at. And probably the last option, if you're at that stage, are VCs or venture capitalists or angels. You're going to be looking at those to be able to provide the money to invest in your company, in your product, so that you can grow it. Now, mind you, you're going to be giving up a piece of that. And in certain cases, depending on the product, depending on your experience, you're going to be giving up a large piece of that. So it's one of the areas that I'm going to say, be cautious. I know you're anxious, but please be cautious, because you may end up giving up more than you have to. So let's kind of take a recap of what we've talked about. Ideally, we want you to bootstrap it. We want you to use your savings, your credit. We want you to go to friends and family. We want you to get a part-time job. We want you to do whatever you have to gather the money to help you. Okay? The other thing is, start part-time. You don't have to make this a full-time business right off the bat. Do that one after it proves itself. But in the meantime, start part-time and start from home. Okay? And the other thing, don't make the mistake of stocking up on a bunch of inventory. You're going to have a bunch of boxes in the garage or the basement that just haven't sold, and you're not going to be able to do anything with it. So don't spend money that you don't have to. Okay? The other thing is, ideally, sell it before you make it. Get commitments from customers in the market that are willing to buy the product, then go make it. You can turn around, sell it, reinvest that money, and do the same thing over and over again. So that's another route. That's probably one of the best routes. The other key is, make certain that you start off as a part-time business. It's a part-time job. Don't make it a full-time job. Don't quit your job until you know this can make it and can support you. Okay, that's the other way. The other way is also make certain that you rent before you buy. Why am I going to buy a piece of heavy equipment that I hope I'm going to use, but in the long run, I may not use it all. Okay, so those are some of the ways. Other areas, microloans. There's also crowdfunding. There's, don't forget that home equity line of credits. There's business loans. There's the SBA. There's peer-to-peer lending. And of course, the last is venture capitalists and angels. So there are many ways to fund your business. There's also government grants. I didn't even think about answering that question. Excuse me on that one. But there's also government grants. There's money out there. I don't want you to fool yourself that there's free money out there. You're not going to get free money. So let me just wake you up right now. You're not going to get any free money. You're going to have to work for it, and you're going to have to prove it. Nobody's just going to give you money, because they want their money back. They're making an investment in you. They want their money back plus some, because that's what they're gaining by investing in you. So again, this is about the reality of what's going on. This show is for that aspiring entrepreneur. This show is for that new entrepreneur. This show is for the entrepreneur just starting, that needs that kick in the butt, that needs the talk, that needs someone to listen to keep them on the track and keep them motivated and keep them going. Because if you're going to do this by yourself, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to do a lot of reading to keep you positive. You're going to have to do a lot of listening to podcasts and things like that. But you're making an investment in yourself. And remember, always invest more in you than you do your job. And Jim Rohn said that. Invest more in you than you do your job. And you'll start seeing success in different ways. So I want to thank you again for listening to the show. I greatly appreciate it. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop by our website, BYOB Pep Talk. That's BYOB Pep Talk. And leave us a question, and we'll be more than happy to answer it on the show. Again, coming up, we do have some interviews that you're going to be listening to. Some of the people that are now entrepreneurs, and how they got their start, and what they were thinking and what they were feeling, and how they made it. So stay tuned. Again, thank you for listening. We hope you have a great day, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for listening. If you're not subscribed to the show, please do. It would mean the world to us. It helps us climb the rankings. Now, if you go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, we'll automatically enter you into our contest where you get a chance to win an iPad or one-on-one coaching. This will go on for the first few months of the year, so we're going to be giving away iPads and one-on-one coaching as our way to say thank you for listening to the show. Now, you can visit us at BYOB Pep Talk, that's BYOBPeptalk.com, for further instructions on how to leave a rating, a 5-star rating with iTunes. So the biggest compliment you can pay us, or you can pay me, is by sharing the show with someone that you think that could benefit from it. So please do. We greatly appreciate that. If you have a question, please feel free to leave it for us, and we'll see if we can answer it on the show. In the meantime, we hope you have a great day.